Hey guys, welcome to day 26 of Unlocked in 30. And today we're going to talk about balance. And earlier in our previous sessions, we talked about how we could balance out our pH, our hormone levels, balance out the acidity levels in our body as far as how it affects us, because the more acid we had in our bodies, basically it was just a negative state as far as how our body performed. But then also balance that on the performance-wise. When we're balancing out our workouts, or are we more or less, what I call like when I'm looking at the balance phase of the whole cleanse, balance, and build philosophy, and I'm applying it to the physical performance side, then I'm looking at balance more as how am I maintaining. And so when I'm talking about like body weight balance, and then on the medical side, I'll go a little bit more in depth on that. But first I want to talk about is the nutritional side, because I think that, again, that's always the key. And if we can get that down, then we can nail the rest of it pretty easy. But balancing the pH and the hormone levels. And so when we can get it into our body, it's never going to be perfect, because we're going to go kind of like call it ebb and flow, where it's going to go up and down throughout the day depending on what we've been exposed to environmentally. But then also throughout our day, work-wise, what we're exposed to food-wise, just in general, stress is the number one thing that causes acid in our body. And most people throughout the day, as you're exposed to a lot of stuff, like I said, stress can be good because it gets us going. But if we get too much and we're overwhelmed, then stress can be at the negative state where, our bodies just shut down and we're at the cellular level, things don't work. So we're at the acidic state, things aren't good. When we knew this from our previous sessions, but I'll highlight it real quick. But when we're in that negative state of acid, your cells don't function. So when your cells don't function, your organs don't work, the glands don't work properly, and things just start to shut down. And that's where you start to see people have the side effects or the symptoms of fatigue, general joint pain, inflammation, or the pain that expedites throughout the day. They're more, just tired, lethargic throughout the day. They don't sleep as well. They're moody, depressed, hormones are all over the place. So just in general, their bodies don't function well. So they can't fight disease. So the immune system basically decreases and plummets. So they're getting sick more often, and it's just kind of a negative cycle. So what I always say is, the more alkaline foods you can get in your body, and it's hard to say what's right for the certain amount, because we're always exposed to more toxins and chemicals on a daily basis than we are good stuff. So I'd say the higher the amounts, the better. So the more alkaline stuff you can get, the green leafier vegetables, the better. Because like I said, go back to that food, that previous video we had on the food scale. Go look at the food scale. Overdose with good quality foods, because like I said, everything is so much easier in life when you're in the alkaline state. Like I said, your joint pain, inflammation lowers. Your mood is better. You have more energy. You sleep better. Just in general, we don't age as quickly, and our body sustains general, just good general, even flexibility to our performance side. So speaking of, certain things that are more alkaline to the body, again, since we're talking about the whole balance phase right now, balancing our pH or hormone levels. So stress being the number one thing. What are you doing to decrease stress in your life? There's a ton of remedies out there. I'm always staying busy. There's always something going on. I used to get really bad headaches and migraines whenever the stress levels was up. One thing I did find a good product in, it's called Go Yin. This is out of Asia. It balances the pH and the hormone levels. There's 20 different superfruits and herbs that balance, again, the pH and hormone levels, but brightens the mood. So it just basically decreases that stress, anxiety, to where you just kind of feel calm all the time and just chill. So that's one thing that's really helped me a lot. And then once I started doing that, I noticed, like I said, I quit taking Excedrin for the headaches and migraines, because that all went away. So tons of different symptoms that you'll notice when you're stressed out. I wasn't sleeping well. I had joint pain, inflammation in the body from knee surgery, so that was a huge change. Everyone's got a different, experience. I always tell people, honestly, if you can control the amount of acid, the inflammation in your body, it's so easy to lose weight. You'll start dropping weight just like that, because basically, a lot of people just jump on certain items for weight loss, whether it's certain supplements or proteins, powders, shakes. But reality, your body is basically just it's not losing weight. Your metabolism slows down because you're so acidic. So if you can learn to do that, it's so much easier to stay in shape, and you don't have to work out as hard. So that's nice. On the flip side, performance, when we're looking at the balance phase, I kind of look at this when I'm going through my workouts, and we talked yesterday about the cleanse phase being more of kind of like cardio type workouts. If I'm going through a balance phase on my movement patterns or the workouts, it's going to be more for body weight control. You can find this either in yoga, Pilates, but just in general, if you learn to control your own body weight in all different planes of motion, you have your front to back, which is sagittal plane, side to side, the frontal plane, and then your transverse rotation. So just a combination. Most gyms honestly are set up just for the sagittal, and then also most sports, because you're just a lot of front and back movements, your squats, your push-ups, your curls, your bench press, everything's just this motion right here. We're not going side to side enough to contract and activate those muscle groups, so we kind of lose that balance of the activation of proprioceptive, the receptors within our joints. So then we over-activate certain muscle groups and then under or deactivate other ones. So it's always that agonist, antagonist sort of relationship there. But so balance, again, balance the body weight. So this is more of a phase for me personally, the maintenance phase. And so, just whether you're going through, I'm not trying to gain anything, I'm not trying to lose anything, I'm just trying to maintain. And so that's how you can look at your balance phase for your movement patterns. And then again, you just pick out what works for you, whether it's a certain workout group like the yoga, the Pilates, body planks, just a lot of body weight control stuff, even body weight squats, push-ups, side planks. Like I said, just mix it up, a variety of planes versus just doing the same one over and over. Then you're not having to worry about the rehab aspect of it. If you're going into the rehab aspect of it and how that looks on the balance phase, again, that's the whole interrelationship of the hot, the cold, the parasympathetic versus sympathetic, as far as overactivated nervous system to parasympathetic, which is deactivated, to where we're more, we can sleep better, more calm. So we deactivate the nerves so they're not so excited. So here's a cool thing, when we look at the rehab aspect, most modalities are just basically focused on deactivating our nervous system. So we're lowering from a sympathetic to parasympathetic. So most people that come in, throughout the day, they're just so jacked up, on certain caffeine drinks or just in general stress, just the body's just kind of so tense. And so and especially if you add that onto an injury, then all of our modalities and techniques that we're trying to do is deactivate them to calm the nervous system down so they're not experience that joint pain and that inflammation as much. So cool thing is, like I said, once you learn this, everything's just so interrelated that it makes everything so much easier. From the medical side, and when I look at it from the balance phase of everything, when I worked in the hospital, it was just, you're seeing the flip side of the healthy side, meaning people are coming in sick and they're just getting pumped full of anti-inflammatories, anti-acids, whether their bodies are just so acidic. So the doctors just kept doing, whether it's IVs, shots, injections, medications, just ways to decrease the amount of acid throughout their body. So that some people were septic to the point where if they were too acidic, they were literally, sepsis could happen within hours or even or days. But usually I turn around and sometimes patient would get so septic that night they'd pass away. So it wasn't something to mess around with. And in that case, yeah, you do need to go the medication route. But I always tell people is that if they could have, unfortunately, if they would have known this, but if they would have applied just a little bit more effort going into more on their own health, they'd not have to lead toward the hospital setting. They wouldn't have to go through all this. But it's just so sad seeing it on the flip side. But so on from a medical side, you're getting your anti-inflammatories. At the clinic I work at, there's a lot of chronic pain patients, so they're getting injections every day, injections, depending on what the doctor tells them, but or a lot of, like I said, anti-inflammatories. But every day there's clients going through that are just getting these injections, and sometimes they'll see anywhere from 150 to 300 people a day, just one physician. And that, they have their team of staff, but it's crazy. So I think they have their time in place, but at the end of the day, people rely on it too much. So here's the thing: is it's kind of like a Band-Aid approach. Yeah, you may need it, but at the end of the day, those injections that they're getting actually it takes away the inflammation at the time, but it actually eats up the cartilage and the fibrous muscle tissue around it. So the more and more people get the injections, then their flip side, they're breaking down their joints and or the tissue, the connective tissue of where they're getting the injections. So something to think about. When you're looking at our balance phase and that acid versus alkaline and how we can apply it to our life just in general. But again, recap: stress being the number one thing. How can you de-stress the body, limit the amount of acid going in the body? For me, it's always been like either physical, like workouts, health related, as far as certain supplements and or food. But then also everyone has their own kind of activity, whether it's hanging out with friends, family, or traveling or doing whatever it is that leisure time. So learn to, fit something in on a daily basis. One cool thing I'd say is if this is something y'all do want to try, that the company is doing, Live Pure, they have a special right now for the disabled American veterans, the DAV, where for every bottle purchased, they're giving away $1. And so it's a really big organization that they're working with right now that this goes through November the 11th, so 11/11 of this year, 2019. So just in general, they do a lot of giveaways, especially the military. So for disabled veterans, if this is something I want to participate in, just let me know. I'll post the link below. But anyways, hope this helps and kind of gives you a little bit more insight on the balance phase and how to go about it.